And NemeSeptember 2023, day 2, or video number 2 really, is in full swing with Metagate's version of Nemesis Prime. I decided I'm just going to go roughly in size order, size/significance. So, not to say this is insignificant, just you'll understand when we get towards the end of the month. But yeah, so we're sticking with Legends, and then we're just kind of going to keep going up from there, because last time we looked at New Age, but today we're looking at Metagate, and this is the Nemesis repaint of their kind of tiny Bumblebee movie Nemesis, or Optimus Prime. Just saying, this is a repaint. Anyway, this is a cool figure, but wow, this truck does not look great. It's, I mean, I hate to say it, but it is kind of bad. And I'm not an alt mode, like, I'm not super critical of alt modes, but like, this is not a great looking alt mode from most angles anyway. As you can see, the rifle stored back there, but I'm just gonna get that out of there. It's, you know, from the back, it's fine for what it is. You even get brake lights, which is cool. The wheels are just pinned, they're not painted, but I think that's okay. You do get some gas canister and other types of silver detailing along here. And yeah, like from here, the proportions of the cab look okay, but this is very messy up around here. But then when you look at it from this angle, it's kind of weird, because it just makes, like, especially having these hinges here, but just in general, the cab looks kind of pinched, and these bits stick out a little too far, which just makes the cab look too tiny. And also, I can't get these to fit flush. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Something in how I've got this transformed is slightly off, and it's not sitting quite right. But regardless, yeah, the truck cab does not look great. I mean, the detailing is there in most cases in the front, like you got the silver bumper and stripe and all that. And, yeah, as I said, like, I think this not lining up is more of a me thing than the toy, but still, teal on the headlights, some paint on the doors, front windows, and also little dots of teal up there, which is cool. The thing that kind of bums me out about this, though, is the side windows. Like, one, they didn't paint the silver trim, but they did here, so that's kind of stands out. But what really bugs me is they painted the wing mirrors in red. They just did red over this whole thing, and that's not great. I mean, I understand, but I feel like if they could have, it would have been better to just leave that unpainted and just paint the window bits. Because it just, I don't know. I hate to say it looks sloppy, but it just kind of feels like, you know, well, we'll just put paint there. That's it. It's not what I would expect from like a highly detailed third-party figure, even if it is Legends scale. And again, this is so messy around here. One thing I will say, though, before we actually get into like the transformation and stuff, one of the things that I really like about this is how they handled the smokestacks of all things. Because here you've got the squared off, or not squared, like the flat smokestacks, but then because of the nature of the transformation, they are also angled for the shoulders. But like, it's so cool how they did that, and it's such a simple effect where they're flat for truck mode, and it looks like these pipes kind of go down and almost like connect to the guts of the truck. But for robot mode, these flip up and give him the angled smokestacks that are more reminiscent of how they looked in the film. And I just think that's a really cool touch. But yeah, there's not really a whole lot I can say about this truck mode other than it's kind of ugly. It has the right colors, but it's just a mess, particularly up here. Like, this does not bother me at all. It's just up here, I think, that could have been a lot better. I don't hate it or anything like that. I still think this is a cool figure. I just think that could have been a lot better. So let's move on from saying mean things about the small toy. So I try not to be mean. But here he is with Art Fire, and bring in Rotor Storm and Ova Prime. and Samus, and of course, Burnout. So yeah, he's about as long as Burnout, but also still very small compared to all of this. And let's get you all back out of here. And gonna do a couple more size comparisons, and not just size comparisons, but look comparisons with this guy. So here he is with the core class Legacy Nemesis Prime, which is just the Kingdom Optimus Prime in black, and that's how they stack up. I do feel like I kind of like how this guy's back end kind of stretches farther than this one. I don't know why, but that feels right to me. It may not be, but it just feels right. And then for one more Nemesis Prime, there's the only other Bumblebee movie Nemesis Prime comparison that I can currently make, and that is the official MPM-12N movie masterpiece Nemesis Prime. Still waiting on the DNA upgrades for this guy to come in, but yeah, that's how they stack up. And yes, this guy does have cat ears, and those cat ears are unfortunate, but overall I think the cab is just so much cleaner than this one, and I think the teal stripe looks really good compared to the silver. And I don't know, just this is, in my mind, this is a much more successful alt mode than this one. Again, not saying that this one is bad, but could have been better. And finally, here is the Metagate Tiny Nemesis Prime with the duck tank. Astrid has decided it's attention o'clock, so this is going to be interesting. Hi. You want to say hello to everyone? Well, she nuzzled the microphone. Okay, let's see how this goes. She is very insistently on my lap. Sorry, just needed a little bit of water because it's quite warm in here. Okay. To transform this guy, to start, we're going to peel the sides off. So just want to unpeg all of this from the side of the truck. So pop that open, and it pegs in like here and here. Oh, she's off my lap. And that just folds down. And then on this side, I'm going to try to actually show you what I'm doing here. Pop that out, and then pop that out. There we go. And we'll do the lower body. So we want to come under here and fold these pieces out and rotate all of this in. So there we have that. Unpeg this section. It pegs in here, and this pegs in here. And rotate what is obviously the legs. And I like to rotate them so that the sculpting lines up, but you can, do whatever. Okay. Now, on this leg, you want to fold this tab in. And just push that all the way in. If you want to get it back out, you can actually come at it from under here and push it from here to push it out. So with that pushed out of the way, you can take the wheel section and rotate that. And you kind of want to, it's on a slider, so you kind of want to rotate it while sliding to get it into place. There you can see the slider. Then this comes down and pegs in right there. And now for the foot, this can bend, and then this piece folds over the gas can. That comes up, and then this folds around and tabs in here. Or, well, not there, kind of frictions in place here. And that gives you the foot. And there you have one leg done. Surprisingly simple. Now this piece is a little different because this is where you have that peg hole rather than the tab, so that's where this little bar comes from. This rotates up and then folds down, so it'll tuck in with the wheels. And then like before, You want to rotate the wheels up and slide them up while rotating to get them into place. And that little folded up bit just sits inside the shin. Then this comes down and pegs in. This folds around and frictions into place. This folds around and covers that up. And there you go. Legs. Now for the upper body, I'm gonna fold these smokestacks in and take this section and pull that out and down on this hinge. Now I'm going to take this section, and you want to use the little mirrors to unpeg the doors. They only open a little bit, but get those up and out of the way so that we can take this upper section and pull that up. And it just pegs in right there. Then this rotates around and the doors will now fold in. And then this comes out, and you can see the head tucked in there. It's kind of tricky to get all of that situated, so I'm just going to leave that in there for now and deal with the arms. So I'm going to take these flaps that we're filling in the sides of the truck, and those actually fold in and peg in there to fill in the shoulder. The front of the shoulder, I should say. So bring that in and take that in. Now, the arms, I don't really know what's going on with the arms. Like, it feels like they peg in, but they don't I don't think they peg in. But you want to rotate them out a little bit so that you can rotate this section out. And I find moving them at the same time kind of helps, because it's a little, again, tricky to get this past this little lip here. But do that, rotate that out, and now this is the weird part. The fists push in for truck mode, but you have to pull them out a little bit for robot mode. And I find it's best to do it when this is up here, because you can kind of grip up here and pull. But this is not the greatest design. There you can see how it kind of pulls out a bit. And now rotate this and rotate this up and around, and you just kind of rotate both things at the same time, and that will settle into place. And that gives you one arm. And same deal here. Rotate that and rotate up here, and just kind of go at the same time until you can get this past this lip here. Pull out fist. And this will actually pull out all the way if you're not careful, so you want to only pull it out most of the way. Not a fan of that design. But rotate that around, flip that up, and then rotate it and get that all into place. Straighten out the arms, and then just gonna bring these down. Take this and rotate it around, and that will sit into the chest. This piece will come up, and this will tab into here, and that will put the torso together, and then this piece rotates along this hinge and finishes up the back, and then this comes up and pegs in right there. And then the arms can just come in and they kind of snap-ish into place to finish up the upper body. And there we have Metagate's version of Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, but in Nemesis colors. And this is a cool figure. The robot mode looks fantastic. It's just that truck is kind of disappointing, but like what you get here is very cool. There's a lot of really nice detailing. I think it's cool how they even have like a little bit of turquoise on the inner thigh for some reason. And you can see they've got lots of nice little details that are painted in silver, and if not painted in silver, then are at least separated in some way. And it, like, for what it does, it's really effective. I like how the truck cab essentially turns inside out, and unlike the New Age version, I really like how they handled the front window section here with all of this kind of folding in and getting out of the way that way, and then this coming up to cover it up, rather than doing that 180-degree flip that's really awkward. And again, you could see those smokestacks that I was talking about, how that's for truck mode and then they fold down for robot mode, and it really does a great job of giving him the angled smokestacks. So yeah, very, very cool transformation. Like, I think the transformation is really cool, aside from just the awkwardness of getting the arms situated around the head. But it does some really cool stuff. And again, you're left with a really nice looking and very small scale Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime that looks the part. He even has little canisters next to his knees. And yeah, this thing is just really cool. It's really nicely detailed for the size. The proportions are really nice. Though it is interesting, I'll grab the New Age guy in a minute so you can see, but like, the proportions on this guy are different than the New Age. They're both about the same height, but the proportions on this guy, I think, are better. The New Age, it just kind of makes the torso look a little squished when you put these two side by side. Yeah, he's neat. The head maybe looks a little tiny, but given how this thing transforms, I understand why. But like, it's cool. It's a cool design that they did a really good job turning into a small transforming figure. I wish the vehicle mode looked a little better, but I don't really know what they could have done other than come up with a completely different transformation scheme to fix that. And considering how much of the legs make up the sides of the cab, which are up here, I think that's a lot to ask. So I'm content with this. Now the head it's the Bumblebee movie Prime head, but in Nemesis colors. It looks really good, and again, it's really nicely painted. There's silver even around the back, which is cool. And yeah, the nice red eyes. The shape, I think, I don't know if it's perfect or not, but it looks really good. It looks really accurate based on what I remember. And it's nice. Now, before getting into the articulation, I do want to say, when I got mine, the head was extremely loose and actually came off. That's because this ball joint is screwed into, you can just barely see it there. There's like this little hint of silver in there. This ball joint is screwed into the post that goes into the body. That's kind of a crappy design because that screw wasn't pushed in all the way. So the entire ball point, the ball portion of the joint came off with the head. So what I ended up having to do was push down really hard and rotate the head a bunch to basically screw the screw back in, then pop the head off, grab a screwdriver, and like really try and tighten that screw as much as I possibly could the rest of the way. And now the ball joint does not move with the head, which is good, so I think I'm in the clear, but like, that was kind of annoying to deal with. Oh, also the back is nicely detailed and picked out, and it's a very, very clean transformation overall. Yeah, it's a neat figure. I just wish the truck mode looked better. Anyway, for articulation, as we saw, the head is on a ball joint, so you can look up pretty darn far and down pretty well too, and you can go side to side a bit and go 360 degrees around. The arms can swing not 360, unfortunately. They can swing pretty far, but not around 360. And also they're jointed down here, so that's kind of weird. And like, the joint has nothing to do with stuff banging in up here. It's the way the joint is designed. It hits up here, and there's really no way to get around that. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. But the arms can go out to and go out this far before they start bashing into the back here. If you swivel them forward, they can go out a bit further, or if you disconnect that and then kind of set it back in place. Like, it's not clipped in there, but it's close enough, and that kind of gives you the 90 that you need. There's a bicep swivel. There is a 90-degree bend at the elbow. It does make the forearms look a little big, but I think overall that's fine. Like, it's a little big, but I think, again, given the size of the figure also, it's okay. Because of the nature of the hands, they can swivel because they're pegs, but you want to be careful with it because if you pull too much, they will come out. Pardon me. No, he does come with alternate hands, like splayed open hands like that. I left those in the box because you can't transform him with those hands, so no thank you. You get a waist swivel that is very stiff, but you can swivel a bit and it kind of crashes into stuff. But if you use the ab crunch, you can actually rotate past that point. So yeah, you get the waist swivel. The waist swivel is very tight though, and very nice ab crunch. The hip skirts weirdly are designed to go in rather than out, so you can only go out about that far, but you have this joint for the transformation that can be used as a drop down, and so you can go out a little bit further. Or there, if you kind of work around that, you can go out. The hips can go forward that far and back that far if you don't use that swing joint, but if you do use the swing joint, they can go like absurdly high and back that far. You get there's a ball joint up here, so you get a bit of thigh rotation there, and then you get additional thigh rotation right below that, which does break the sculpt, but I think that's fine, again, considering the size. And also, you get a pretty decent amount of rotation even without breaking the sculpt. The knees are also really impressive because they are double jointed, so you can actually go... you can actually bend pretty darn deep. I did find if you use the upper joint first and then the lower one, it doesn't bend as far, so you want to use the lower joint, then the upper joint, and that gets you the deeper knee bend. And then because of the nature of the transformation, the feet can go down, though it breaks things up here, and then you also get ankle tilt. So yeah, he's a very, for what, again, for the size, aside from just a couple of weird things that you can in most cases work around, he's a pretty posable Nemesis Prime. I really, I think he's really cool. And he does have a gun. The gun is the only weapon accessory that he comes with, but it is the Optimus Prime ion blaster looking Bumblebee movie style rifle. The peg is like a rectangular shape, so you're not going to want to peg it in and like twist it. You just peg it straight in and pull it straight out. But that can go into either fist, and now he's got his gun. So there's that. I have not tried storing this on his back. Let's see, because there's this peg hole back here. I think these pegs on the side that peg in here to like store it in vehicle mode, I think those would work. Let's see. No, seems like it might be... Oh no, it does work. Okay. So there you go. You can store the gun back there if you want. Have not tried that until now. And I haven't had this guy for that long. But yeah, there is Metagate Nemesis Prime. It's very cool. Just has a couple of strange specifics and drawbacks, as I said. So there he is. Let's bring in our size comparisons. There is Burnout for a regular deluxe, Rotor Storm for a tall deluxe, Artfire for a Voyager, Ova Prime, just because, and Samus for a more general size comparison. So yeah, there's how he stacks up with all of those figures, and he's Legends scale, so of course he's going to be on the smaller side, because that's what Legends scale means in the broad scope of things anyway. And get all of these out of here. Let's bring back Core Nemesis Prime. Core Nemesis Prime is, smaller, because core figures are a little bit smaller than Legends figures. But you can also see how, you've got the G1 style on the right and then the movie style on the left, and it does that thing that I really like, where it's like clearly the same character because of a lot of the same design notes, like the shin vents and the pec windows and the grill stomach and all that, but like they're very different interpretations, which I just think is really cool. Get you out of there, and let's bring in the New Age, because I was talking about him earlier. There you can see that the New Age is ever so slightly taller at the head, but it's weird, because, like, let's see if I can line this up a little bit more parallel. It's like, you can see that the New Age is a little bit taller, but, like, their shoulder lines are extremely close as well. And so, it just, considering how all of this comes together, it's kind of interesting how the New Age proportions just look a little bit weird next to the Metagate. Not that I think, like, I still think the New Age is really cool, but, like, I don't know, it makes the torso look a little squished in, even though it's actually not. It's very strange. But there is how those two stack up next to each other. And as we looked at him before, here is... I mean, it's legend scale, so of course. But here is Bumblebee movie masterpiece, MPM-12N Nemesis Prime with the Metagate Nemesis, and yeah, he's significantly bigger. This guy comes up to like his knee. What is it, Astrid? I would say I like the extra touches of turquoise on the MPM version, but like this guy's so small, I feel like it's understandable. And I have an Astrid again. Hi. Head kisses. Alright. Let's get him out of there so we can wrap this up. And here is... Bring this back down. Here is Metagate's Nemesis Prime with the duck tank. Yes, hi Astrid. Hi. Hello. And that does it for, as I said, Metagate's version of Nemesis Colors Bumblebee Optimus Prime. And it's, again, very cool figure. It's just that the truck mode is a little bit and a couple of the transformation steps, again, particularly the arms, are kind of, and the head, like getting things around that head, they're a little bit like, not bad, just tricky and particular, let's say. But the articulation on this guy is great. It's, I'd say, on par with the New Age, though the waist swivel on New Age is a lot less horrible. And the New Age gets a deeper knee bend, but this guy can move his feet back, the New Age can't, but the New Age can move his feet forward, and this guy can't. So it's, yeah, it's all relative. And now we've got an Astrid. Okay. But, yeah, it is cool. He has no matrix gimmick or anything like that, which I think is because of, you know, how this comes together. It's like if you unplug the chest, there's... If you unplug the chest... Why are you so solidly in there? There we go. So yeah, if you unplug the chest, like, there's no place for a matrix to go. So it's fine. It really is fine. And if any of you who've been following the channel know, I'm not into matrix gimmicks, so that does not bother me. Yeah, cool figure, and I forgot to do the thing. So yeah, if you like this video or any of the other videos that I've done in the past and you want to support the channel, I do have a Patreon, which you can find a link for in the description or at the end card, and I have a single $1 tier, gets you early access to new videos, and like I said, supports the channel. If you'd rather support the channel non-monetarily, there's a different link in the description for a Discord server for ShowZ, which is an overseas site that does a lot of retail for like third-party Masterpiece, KO, that kind of stuff. I've been using them for years. They're great customer service, and if you use that link to join the Discord server, I get a little bit of store credit that I can use towards buying more stuff from them. Incidentally, I bought this from ShowZ. Took a while to get here, but that's not ShowZ's fault. It was just the shipping company and customs. It got held up for like an extra week in customs. Again, not ShowZ's fault. Yep, that is gonna do it for this guy. Very cool. I think worth it if you want a legend scale Bumblebee Prime, because where else are you going to get one right now? But even just as a figure, it's pretty cool. So thank you everybody for watching, and well, let's see what's next on the docket. Oh yeah, next on the docket is a different Nemesis Prime, one that is a little bit less. Well, I mean, the last two we looked at were third party, so they're not stuff you're going to find in stores. But got one that's a little bit, really, got one that's a little bit older, but still pretty cool. So we're going to be looking at this guy next.